Sunmine comes from the idea that it's a former mine, and then we were thinking about mining the sun.
Michel Despot, who was the consulting engineer on the project, really had this vision that this area of British Columbia was such a hot spot for solar radiation that it would be ideal to put a solar facility here. He combined that with the brownfield here from the former mine site on tech lands, and he came up with a great idea that this would be the highest, best use of this brownfield land would be to capture solar energy and create electricity here.
The Sullivan Mine's been operated for over 100 years, so it was the primary economic driver of Kimberley. And going into closure in 2001, they wanted to leave a positive legacy for the community.
It has been an extremely innovative project. It has many firsts. It is the first large-scale solar plant outside Ontario. It's also the first time that a mining company in Canada is doing that on their land. It's the first solar photovoltaic plant which is owned and operated by a community, by a city. You can see from the background we're pretty high in the mountain. So this is the highest solar plant in Canada. It's also the first application in the large scale of those trackers that you see, the double axis tracker. And the reason why we use that is increase the energy by 35 to 40% over a standard fixed system. One of the first time where we're using extremely high voltage to transmit electricity. The reason for doing that is to reduce the cost of cabling. When you increase the voltage, you reduce the size of the cable. So we are 1000 volts. Those guys here are 1000 volt DC, so don't touch it. And also, it's one of the first time that we were using smaller inverters. And when you come out, you can see them all around. Normally, a solar plant like this will use a very large inverter, one big box for the whole thing. And here we have used smaller commercial inverter.
The role that Michel and EcoSmart have played has been a role of visionary, a role of consulting engineer, and they have attempted to kind of keep us the big picture in mind as we've been moving what is arguably a fairly, compact project forward.
I'm very proud about my partners, Tech and Kimberley. They have been supportive to this from day one. You must imagine that this is not the business of a city to develop a solar plant. It's not the business of a mining company to develop a solar plant. But they see the future coming.
We've got enough room on this site to expand up to 200 times the size of this project. I think what we've done is we've inspired other builders. We've taken the risk out of it and we've inspired them to build in the area. So there's been a lot of interest in other solar projects in the area.
The future is extremely bright to the extent that we could have a half a dozen or a dozen different solar facilities in the area.
Everybody thinks this is the seed of something else. Not the end. It's not the end of the project. It's just the beginning of something. That's why I'm thinking it's a great project.